Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Exploring Hyperspace Lanes. So, we had a little bit of an issue this week. Josie wasn't feeling well, and I was preoccupied on the days that she was available, dealing with a personal matter, and we couldn't get her episode recorded. But, just that way we have content this week. I was going through the archives of old episodes of 30-minute reviews and Beware of Spoilers, see if there's something we can put up that's good audio quality, because going through there's some that aren't great. Like there was an episode about Revenge of the Sith that we had that Josie sounds like she's talking through a robot. And then there's an episode of where we did A New Hope where the sound quality, like, it's not the quality's low, it's just I would have to sit there for hours and change the levels and all of that to make it listenable. But I found one that I think that will keep people interested and will be an interesting thing this week. This episode was recorded in early January of 2016. Peter and I did a Beware of Spoilers for The Force Awakens the night it came out. We went Thursday night, or Friday. No, we went Thursday night because on Friday I went home, and then Saturday I went and saw it with my dad and my brother. We went to see Thursday night. We went to see The Force Awakens. And we did a Beware of Spoilers right after. Josie couldn't be on because she was working or she couldn't go that night. She did eventually see the movie, but when she had seen the movie, Peter wasn't available. So what we did was we did a bonus episode of 30-minute reviews about The Force Awakens. And that's what this is. This is the bonus episode from The Force Awakens that we did on 30-minute reviews back in 2016. So Josie is a little opinionated on this, so just be aware of that. She's a little vitriolic, let's just say. So enjoy.
Welcome to 30 Minute Reviews. I'm Adam.
And I'm Josie, and today we're going to talk about the whopping pile of shit that is the new Star Wars movie. And if you haven't seen it, then take those earbuds out because we're going to talk about how fucking shit this piece of shit is.
Okay, let's try that with a little bit less vitriol there. She hated it. I'm not sure if you can tell. She absolutely fucking hated this movie. As did my dad. For the record, my dad hated the movie too.
It very well could have been decent, and I would have accepted the fact that they threw out everything that I knew and loved, but they decided to just make it a whopping pile of shit. So if you'd like to start first before I swear and cuss out everything.
Okay, well, it seems a little late to prevent you from swearing and cussing out everything. Here's the thing with this movie. The movie is a solid movie. And it's a solid Star Wars movie.
You're wrong.
You know why it's a solid Star Wars movie? Because it's A New Hope with parts of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi mixed in for good measure. That's why it's a solid Star Wars movie. Because people complained...
So here's why it isn't.
Okay, you can let me finish first.
I don't care, because you're totally wrong. Like, I just...
Okay, go.
Like, you're just... let me get my list up.
You're popping like 7 veins in your head.
Because
sit down now, it's fine, you don't have to stand.
Like, the words spewing out of your face are genuinely making me sick.
But it's an accurate statement. The movie isn't that bad. You're making it sound like it's a steaming... No, Attack of the Clones is worse.
Number 1, they completely lack an understanding of the Force. Would you like me to explain?
I would, yes. Go ahead, explain.
This bitch? What the fuck is her name?
Ray?
Huh?
Ray?
I thought that was the bad guy.
Kylo Ren's the bad guy.
Sorry, Ray
is...
Ray. Anyways, this bitch, without any sort of understanding or knowledge or training, is all of a sudden able to use an extremely advanced form of Force energy and like when she waves her hand and or not waves her hand, but tells the guard,
Daniel Craig for the record.
Leave the room and leave your gun. She's able to do this shit. She should not be able to do that shit.
Okay, I'll
No,
agree with.
no,
Here's
that
the
is an
thing about.
extremely advanced form of. Go ahead.
Here's the thing about Rey. I've been going back and forth in my head since I've seen this movie of is Rey a character archetype called a Mary Sue. Um, this is a word that if you do not want feminists to attack you, you do not use. I don't give a shit. A Mary Sue is. Let me find the actual definition. Um,
See, while you're doing that,
yeah,
I
go
could
ahead.
totally understand if she just happened to have this amazing like ability to channel the force and use it and just have not explosive but like an extremely able like
Or if she opened
sorry,
the, or if she
very
opened the
be
things
very
herself.
powerful with it. I can understand that where she can like lift powerful things when her emotions are high
Or
or
if she was Star Killer, like if she was like from the Force Awakens, where she had Star Killer levels of power, where she could just like create force shockwaves or something like that, and she broke out that way. Or she loosened the
or she
chains
could like
herself.
yeah but like in intense moments and stuff where if she were just able to come up with this power I could understand that I could live with that even though she has no training with it I get it but to be able to use something so advanced and complex as what the fuck is that called
Okay, I have the definition of Mary Sue while you figure that out.
the
A
mind tricks the Jedi mind
Jedi
tricks
mind tricks, yeah. What a Mary Sue is, or if you're talking about a male character, it's Gary Stu or Marty Stu. It refers to a character who is young or low rank who uses unrealistic abilities for their rank to save the day. Um,
yes actually this entire movie is filled with that but
I wouldn't go that far. I
so the
would
black
because
is just all of a sudden able to use a lightsaber, and this bitch is
it's
also all of
pushing
a
a
sudden
button.
able to use a lightsaber.
It's pushing a
Oh,
button. They're not force activated.
I understand that.
Okay,
But if you've read any of the books or have any
which don't
understanding,
matter.
I know. But in the books, if anybody who doesn't have any sort of experience with a lightsaber attempts to use one, yeah, they can have it out. But the moment they try to like actually fight with it, they're more likely to kill themselves or hurt themselves than they are to hurt somebody else. And all of a sudden, she's able to.
If I'm able to get a point in edgewise here, I would like
You
to refer to you the greatest movie in the franchise, Episode 5, in which Han Solo not only activates a lightsaber, but uses it with precision without dismembering himself,
doing what?
cutting open the tauntaun.
Oh, that's different. I'm
Um,
talking about fighting. I'm talking about
here's
fight.
here's the thing with the fighting with the lightsaber.
Like I said, yes, they can have it open and like you
Finn
know.
gets fucked up, by the way. I would like to point out that Finn is by definition not, because he gets fucked up both times he uses a lightsaber. He gets fucked up by the traitor stormtrooper, and then he also gets fucked up by Kylo Ren.
Not fucked up enough.
Okay, would you prefer he died?
Yes, if they
Okay,
wanted it to be any sort of like have any sort of realism to that, he would have died
okay. For the
because
record,
he
I would
either
like to
would have
point
chopped
out
his own head
Josie
off
is asking
or
for realism in a
he's supposed
space
to be.
fantasy movie.
So this guy, what the fuck is the new bad guy's name? Like Kylo
Kylo
Ren?
Ren.
Kylo Ren is supposed to be so advanced and so good at using a lightsaber and the Force that he took down Luke and Luke's entire school of Padawans.
He never said he took down Luke.
Obviously, he would have had to fight
It's
Luke.
implied that he had to fight Luke, but it's not. It's also stated that he had
Either
like
way,
5 other guys with him.
he was supposed to be good enough to take down an entire school, a little school of Padawans. So
Okay.
his lightsaber skills should be extremely good, and the choreography for these fight scenes were just a fucking mess.
Well,
So
that comes back to
should have
J.J.
been able
Abrams.
to like in like one freaking swipe or whatever, gotten rid like killed the little black guy, or knocked him out or something,
We at
or
30-minute reviews like to call black people by their names. This
I
character's called Finn.
Finn, anyways, or he should have been able to get rid of him in one little swing, and then this girl. Okay, So I get the fight scene being shitty and stuff because it seems like he's all at the very end of the fight scene or in the middle of it. He's like, you know, join me and stuff. So I'm like, oh, cool. So he was toying with her. And then all of a sudden they're not toying. He's not toying with her anymore. And she's got like a rage. But being able to channel more force does not make you better with a lightsaber, you fucking idiots.
Okay, where is that established in the 6 movies, plus the Clone Wars and Rebels?
That's common sense.
It's not common sense when you're talking about fiction.
I don't care. That's the way the books are.
Okay, the books don't matter.
I don't care.
Here's the other thing.
This guy who's got so much training should not have even, like, it shouldn't even have been contest.
Okay, if I can offer up a reason why he got fucked up or why he didn't do so well in that fight,
They
do you
were
remember?
Like,
do you remember how he got shot?
A good movie.
Remember how he got shot? Do you remember what he got shot with?
Okay.
Do you remember how that thing blew up 7 troops, shot holes in armor, and killed people in one hit, and he took a shot to the chest like a champ?
Well, he didn't take a shot to the chest. He took a shot.
I'm sorry. He took a shot to the abdomen. I'm sorry. Huge difference. No, you're right. It didn't one shot kill him. It should have killed him. Like it killed everyone else he did that to, including ones with specialized armor.
Was there blood?
Yes.
I'm extremely impressed that they chose to use blood.
I'm not, because it was a PG-13 movie.
I am, because the books are actually extremely gory, and none of the movies ever were. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Because they're children's movies. At their core, they're children's movies. In the same way Marvel is children's movies.
I think I've made my point.
Okay. Okay, move on to 2.
Okay, so the lightsaber battles were extremely poorly choreographed. And
I wouldn't so much say poorly choreographed as much as
they weren't
poorly...
fun. They looked really boring and shitty.
It was poorly shot, is what I would say.
I think that they were really lame, and even when he stopped like toying with her and she got all like this fake force energy that all of a sudden made her be able to use a lightsaber better, it was still shitty.
I have a question for you.
If they hadn't have been separated, it looked as though she was gonna beat him, which is unrealistic.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So, Yoda. Let's take a minute to talk about Yoda here for a second. Prequel Yoda. And specifically Episode 2 and Episode 3 prequel Yoda. When he's walking around, what is he doing?
What do you mean?
When he's walking, what's his walk cycle when he's just walking from place to place, which doesn't happen very often, but when it does, he's limping, and he has a cane.
And the reason
when he's fighting, he's using the Force to channel to make his fighting better, and make his lightsaber abilities better.
Yes, but it is still a form that using a lightsaber is still a form that you need to be able to, like, master, and like they're sequences that you need to have ingrained in you. You need to work with that before you're able to actually use it.
I think the problem with the lightsaber problem...
And the only thing is that, like, the Force helps you to be able to fight better, and like you create a force shield, and it helps you do force jumps and things like that. But and like the power behind a swing, you can use the Force to make, what am I trying to say? Stronger. Thank you. I was gonna say bigger, better.
It can punch gooder.
You can punch gooder, but it doesn't make your skill and your technique with it any better, because that's something that's learned.
Okay, so just continue, because I feel like I'm never going to get a word in edgewise that's not going to be immediately shot down, no matter how correct I am.
Because
so just continue.
Okay, so let's talk about the villain. What's his name?
For the 4th time, Kylo Ren.
He's so lame I can't even remember his name.
Okay, how is he lame?
First of all, don't get me wrong, I like the guy that played him. He's great in Girls.
Adam
He's
Driver.
funny.
Okay, you
Yeah.
lost a little bit of legitimacy when you're talking down Star Wars and talking up Girls, but continue.
Anyways, I like him in Girls because I'm a girl and it's funny, okay?
Okay.
Um, but he's too goofy to be any sort of like real villain, and it's just weird. But
Okay, here's
and he's a
here's what I
goofy
think.
voice, so when he talks, you're like, why? How are we supposed to be intimidated by you or scared of you? Like, 'cause that's what's supposed to happen with a villain. You're supposed to, think of them as intimidating, as like powerful. But he's just goofy. Got a goofy face, goofy voice.
I think the ultimate mistake they made was taking the mask off on him. With the mask, he was fine.
Yeah, like
Until
if
the
they
mask came off, he was a fine. Like, and here's the other thing: I have no problem with them doing a different personality type for the villain, because really, up until this, it was Darth Sidious, who was just a guy pulling the strings,
hmm
Darth Maul, who had literally no personality because he was just like an animal who fucking
well
like
the
ripped shit
person
apart.
the what ended up happening was the person who was going to be Darth Maul, his lines got cut, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm leaving." And so they
Well, yeah,
just
because they
had
needed
his
more Jar
stunt
Jar.
double do it. So then he just didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, even so, he didn't have a personality. Count Dooku was basically just a lighter version
He
of
was
the Emperor.
intimidating and
Right? No,
scary.
no, no. I'm not
So
saying he's not
this
intimidating.
guy,
He was just
this guy
a
could
field
have
level
been
version
off his
of the
mask.
Emperor.
Sorry,
And
this guy could have been good if he didn't take off his mask, and then like when he finally like turned to the light or whatever, because he is Han Solo and Leia's kid, he's got to come back. Um, and then he takes off his mask, and then you see just like this goofy looking kid, and it's like, wow, as all of a sudden he turns to the light because you get to see his goofy face, you know.
here's the other thing with more of the villains. Grievous was the same villain. Um, Even Anakin Vader in Episode 3 was the same in terms of demeanor as all the rest. This is the first one with a different demeanor, where he's a little bit more like he's still just as like intense when it comes to like ripping people's shit open, like when he kills Max von Sydow on Jakku in the beginning. But like he has lighter moments, like when he's on the like I liked when he was like on the ship with General Hux, and it's like are you sure your troops can handle it? And Hux starts saying, he goes, oh, they seem very adept at high treason. Maybe we can have them do that. Like it was. I think it was refreshing to have a villain that wasn't the same, like entirely all the time that intense.
Okay,
Like I want to see the villain be more human than be the let's just kill everything for the sake of killing it. Like let's take a minute. Like when he throws the temper tantrum, when it's that whole sequence when the other guy comes in and tells them that they escaped Jakku, and it's like the droid escaped. Then like it stole a ship. It's like the droid stole a ship. They're like, no, he had help from FN, whatever the fuck Finn's number is. And then he takes out his lightsaber and just fucks up the computer. And then
hmm
like anything else, and it's like that was like it was a very like it was an in character moment for what he is, because he's just a spoiled little brat. So it was a very good like way for them to characterize this person. Also, I'd like to point out, someone on a forum I was reading pointed out this, and I thought it was interesting, so I'm gonna say it here. I'm gonna try and find that post that way I can like cite the guy who said it. He said that um, Kylo Ren is the opposite of Anakin, um, because like Anakin would what was it? Anakin would like go out of his way to be the hero, even if it was through villainous means. Kylo Ren goes through like to be the villain, like he's going out of his way against what he is to be the villain, which is the opposite of what Anakin did. Anakin was was like a well-intentioned kid who just wanted to save his wife in the long run.
I do think that like the idea of this character is very neat and it's different and it's cool to see something new.
Hmm.
But
No, he shouldn't have taken the mask off.
I don't think that they executed it properly.
No.
You know,
This thread's like 400 things long. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. It was someone on the Jedi Council forums on the Force.net. If you want to tweet at me, I will give you a citation in the next episode.
so I guess we'll talk about, touch upon same plot line.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with this movie because it
It's
went
not my
too
biggest,
safe.
but
It's my biggest because here's the thing. It's episode like when it came time for Han to die, I wasn't shocked because
um,
I got to
I
that
think
point.
Han's gonna die. But you know that I have an issue with the way Han Solo died. Um, in the books, Han Solo like fights his kid and defeats him. So I guess if he's gonna die, in my mind, I'm like, well, he should have fought, He should have tried to kill his son, and then his son takes him down in a blow. But he
No,
didn't.
I
And
think
out.
this was the right way to do it because the books leading up to Han Solo's death had time to develop the conflict. Here, all we saw was Han got broken up so badly that he went back to smuggling after his son turned. That now we have this whole he goes and he just wants to bring his son back. And he like in the moment when I think he just accepts his death in that moment,
The
and
only
I'm okay with it.
thing that bothers me is that in the books, when their son turns to the dark side, um, Leia and Han Solo's relationship becomes stronger. They don't like separate from each other, and you know, then they
I
end up fighting their son together. So
I don't know.
I understand what the point of changing that would be.
Well,
I guess
because they
there's
don't want
feels
because
in it, but there could have been more. There could have been just as many feels, air quotes, with having them be brought together to take down their son and like crying over his dead body, being like, "Where did we go wrong?" or something like that.
well, here's the
And
thing: you can't have that happen because the other thing, this is a redemption arc. We have in Star Wars, in the current canon of Star Wars, there's one character who went from being a Sith to being a good guy. You know who it is?
it's Darth Vader
Nope.
and
Well,
Anakin.
okay. That's not how I was going for. Someone who started as a Sith and turned to being good. Not someone who was a Jedi turned Sith turned back. This is someone who was always a Sith at the beginning, then turned to being a good guy.
Okay, who?
Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars.
Okay.
They're going to basically do that with this movie. They're going to have
I mean, you can tell they were already hinting at the fact that he's coming back, and they've picked such a goofy character. He's got to, but then they showed his
they
face, and like what they,
well
I
the
guess,
key to any
how
redemption
they
arc.
could have fixed it was they could have been and not changed so much unnecessarily. Was they could have had them be close together and be like, we need to take down what we brought into this world. He's causing so much harm and hate and disaster, and he goes in and he's like, son, you need to turn, you need to come back. And he goes, no, I've come too far, or some shit like that. And then he's like, well, then you're no longer my son, and starts shooting at him. And then he like deflects a little thing at him and like takes him down, and that's how he dies. That would have been so much more. You would have felt so much more during his death for that.
Well, I think the thing with they needed to keep the movie within a certain time constraint is the other issue, which is why
Just
which is
like
why
they fucked everything else up quickly. Um, I think they also tried to pack too much and introduce way too much
wait
into
what do you mean
this.
introduced too much? What was introduced that was too much?
Um, they tried to create this extra rivalry between fuck
Okay,
Percy 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 Weasley and um
it's Charlie Weasley or Bill Weasley actually I believe not. Here's my biggest problem with what they did in this movie. Why the fuck is the Resistance separate from the Republic? What purpose does that serve
I didn't
other than
notice
being able to?
that.
Yeah, that in the opening crawl, it's like the New Republic is doing X, Y, and Z, and it's like Princess Leia leads oh no, General Organa leads a brave
Huh.
resistance against the First Order. Why? Why the fuck does that need to happen? Why not just have them be the official army of the Republic? Because the clones work so fucking well in the prequels. Just say, okay, we'll have a standing army of volunteers, which you have.
So,
Like, I don't understand.
yeah, they changed a lot of things that really didn't need to be changed. They just did it to do it almost. It was very strange. Um,
Well, no,
so that's
I understand why they had to cut out the extended universe, because you it too much stuff would have been fucked up in the process of making movies that it had to adhere that well the movies wouldn't have to adhere to the extended universe, but then select things would have to be cut out of the extended universe completely. Like, okay, they released this movie and the entire extended universe is still the way it is. Okay, this movie's released the way it is. The extended universe is released the same way it is. This retcons out all the kids who were in existence. Jaina, Jason, Anakin, Ben, all of them retconned out of existence. Mara Jade retconned out. Like all of this shit that happened has to be changed. That 30-year time skip between the two movies, that has to change too to accommodate this thing. The fact that the Republic is like any story that has the Republic as a central focus in it has to be changed because that's not how it is in this one. Because it's not the Republic, it's the Resistance.
anyways. Next
So
thing. I believe the movie was too funny.
I disagree.
I don't.
Okay. Well, I figure you don't disagree with your own opinion.
Yes.
How is it too
Um,
funny?
there was just too much. It was all one big joke. Like, I get all the nostalgia in it, and I mean, of course I wanted that too, but
I could have done without that
it
more than
could
I could have
have
done without
been
the jokes.
it could have been more tasteful. It was too in your face,
No, there were a
but
few jokes that didn't quite
and
land.
there
Like
were
when Finn's like, "What's this? What's
everyone
this?"
had jokes though. Like, totally cut this Finn character out of it, or I have such a problem with him, and I think
Because
that's
he's black.
my list. No, it's not because he's black.
It's partially because he's black.
No, it's really not. My problem with him is that so you were taken as a child and you
Uh-huh.
were raised to be a stormtrooper. During this, you have lost all form of self-identity. Okay, so something has stuck with you to cause you to see that things are wrong, what you're doing is wrong. Okay, I can buy that.
Right.
But I can't buy the fact that this guy has, gone through all this training, which literally breaks him down mentally to not having a personality at all, because he's supposed to be part of like a hive mind almost. And he is so fucking outgoing and crazy and insane and makes stupid ass jokes. That is not the way his character should be psychologically.
He made 2 jokes the entire movie.
No, he didn't. He was a fucking crazy person the entire time.
Oh, wait, no, 3 jokes. I'm sorry, he made 3 jokes. He didn't really joke around. I think most of his comments
He
weren't even
himself was a
his
fucking
jokes.
joke.
His lines that were funny wasn't him making a joke
I'm
to
not
be
talking about
funny.
his lines necessarily.
No, he never made an outright joke through the entire movie. What he did was he said things that were in context funny because of the way it was delivered. Like that when he's like when he's doing a thing to Phasma, he's like, "I'm in charge now, Phasma. I'm in charge. I'm in charge." That wasn't him trying to be funny. That was a power play by him because he never had that kind of power. Like it just came off as funny in the movie because of how Harrison Ford back down, kid.
But he shouldn't have been so outgoing and fucking nuts. He should have been quieter, more reserved, because that's how, since pretty much birth, he has been raised to be.
He wasn't
Does
quite.
it really make sense for him to be so outgoing and fucking nuts all the time?
He wasn't really
at all.
outgoing. He was like,
Yes, he was. He was extremely outgoing and crazy and loud and just insane the entire time. He wasn't reserved, he wasn't collected ever, which is what he's been trained since fucking birth almost to be.
okay, continue.
Do you agree or
What the
no?
fuck? No, I disagree. I liked Finn's character.
So you think it makes sense for him to be so fucking nuts?
He wasn't nuts.
He was insane the entire time. He was a fucking wreck. Always.
Okay, no, no, he was not. You're just wrong on this.
I think you need to go and watch it again because
I've seen it 3 times. You've seen it once. I saw it yesterday. I can tell you that Finn acted exactly the way you'd expect him. They didn't erase their personalities completely. It's not a hive mind like the clones.
but he's been with these people who have been training him since
Okay, you're
like
acting
he
like
was
it's.
very
Here's
young.
the problem. You're still acting like it's a clone mindset. They're not clones. This
I'm
isn't
not saying
Commander Cody.
but
Even
I'm
in the
telling
Clone
you
Wars,
that
the
any
clones
person,
have personalities that are distinct. And what time are we at here on this?
any
No, it's
person
at 15
who was
minutes.
taken as a child and raised by somewhere else in a military setting that is like no nonsense, hive mind, and tries like gets rid of all form of personality would not be like this.
Okay. I respectfully disagree.
And
Continue.
you're quite wrong. But my next one.
We have 15 minutes, keep in mind. I
It's
want to
not
talk
like
about
he was
fan
taken
theory.
as a teenager. He was taken as like a
Okay,
5-year-old.
continue.
Plot was rushed. I already said that. They played off people's nostalgia way too much. I mean, it was just played off poorly, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, the poor guy was the black guy was poorly thought out and fucking useless and over emotional for a stormtrooper.
She's reading her own thoughts, by the way, not an official review by anyone.
Han Solo dying was a shitstorm.
We talked about that.
I believe that. Okay, so the acting, even my mother, who's not really keen on picking that kind of shit up, and neither am I, noticed that the acting was shit. Like, most of it.
And I will offer you this. Did you
Like in
have the same
background,
thought about Attack of the Clones? Did you think Attack of the Clones had shitty acting?
no, because I love it.
Okay, you're done. You've lost all credibility on this. It is
Anyways.
universally accepted as a fact to the point where there is no one on the planet who goes, you know who did a great job acting in this movie? Hayden Christensen. No, that movie is the epitome of bad acting. If you're going to teach someone how to act poorly, show them their performance in that fucking movie. You know the proof of that? Watch the fucking gag reel where they have more chemistry when they fuck up than when they're actually recording lines.
I will give you that. Okay?
Okay?
The only reason why I have such a big problem with with this movie is because there's so many things wrong with it, and it's so shitty.
The majority of your problems wrong with it seem to be stemming from the fact that it's not the books.
So?
And it's because you were spoiled by the books that you didn't like it. Okay? Like, that's not a criticism of the movie, it's a criticism of your interpretation of the movie.
No,
Okay.
there have been plenty of things that say, like this fucking black guy who shouldn't have fucking even been in it.
Okay.
And then...
Would it have solved the problem with the black guy if he came in the next movie, and in this movie we see him develop a friendship with the stormtrooper that dies in the beginning?
Anyways, Han Solo dies like a little bitch. And then... So, acting was pretty shit. Like, you have to admit...
No, I don't have to admit, because that's a wrong statement. This is the best we've seen Harrison Ford since...
characters didn't even sound excited. They were like, oh no, my ship's going down. There was no urgency, nothing.
This is the best acting I've seen Harrison Ford do since,
I'm not talking about
Harrison Ford. The Last Crusade. Okay? Daisy Ridley did a very good job in this movie. She doesn't get enough credit for playing a character with no flaws.
It didn't help whatsoever.
Who?
BB-8, the stupid robot. Yeah, I get the comic relief and everything, but why have him as comic relief as well as this black guy who was funny every fucking second? He was on camera.
BB-8,
Anyways, BB-8
BB-8,
didn't do anything. There was no use
BB-8
for
did as
him
much as
except for
R2-D2.
R2-D2 actually does shit though. He
Okay,
like extends
okay,
his little
okay.
arm and
You
gets
have
the
to, you
elevator
have
stuff.
to not look at. Oh wait, no, never mind. R2
Yeah.
did do shit
So
in episode 4. Okay, never mind. I'll take it back.
R2-D2 used to be helpful, and R2-D2 had the rest of the map. BB-8, all he did was hold this one little piece of map that happened to fit perfectly in with the other
Yeah, that
piece.
was okay. That's another problem I had too.
But all he did was hold on to this little piece of, like, in a sense, a USB thing that
Hmm.
anybody could have held on to. So why the hell was he there? If they were gonna have him as comic relief, then this black guy shouldn't have been so goddamn funny.
You, you know what the problem, the thing with the map is? Okay, this makes it sound a lot less dumb when you hear the actual explanation as to why the map is the way it is. Um, the map is that what's his name has in his
R2-D2?
R2D2 has in his stuff is a complete map of the galaxy that was from the Republic that got transferred to the Empire that he pulled when he was on board the Death Star. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
The map that BB-8 has is the missing part of that map that was cut for whatever reason. Why couldn't they cross-reference it against an existing map they have? Because the Rebellion doesn't have a complete map of the galaxy.
Okay.
That's how they explained it
Saying
in the
there
book.
was no point for BB-8 to be there.
Oh, okay.
He was no help whatsoever. He didn't shock anything. He didn't kill anything. He didn't do
He
any sort of.
shocked Finn. He shocked Finn. You're wrong. He
Okay.
didn't shock Finn.
Oh gosh, sorry. He didn't like hack anything or help them in any sort of way. This girl was all they needed for that.
Yeah.
He literally did nothing but hold a little USB drive that anybody else could have carried.
R2D2 could have carried it.
And he would have carried it like a boss as well as helping them out.
Yeah, R2D2 wouldn't have fucked up releasing those weird things in the freighter.
The boss.
Okay. Do you have any more thoughts before we go into fan theory with the last, I don't know,
Go ahead.
10 minutes? Okay, so we'll do fan theory now because I really wanted to cover this. This is what I was most excited about with this movie. Because being that it's Star Wars, everyone is fucking related. Like, that's...
theory is that Anakin / Darth Vader is this guy, what is that? He's the hologram or something, but he's dead.
Snoke. Okay.
Snoke.
No, you're right. And I've seen you're right. Nowhere in any of the canon movies has there been a character who can cheat death. You're right. Never mind.
I mean, they can come back as
Never has there been a character that driven the plot because they were able to create life and preserve life through the midichlorians.
They can rely on the Force. They can, and they can create projections of themselves, but that's about it.
No, that's just an incorrect statement based on Revenge of the Sith, which I watched last night. In Revenge of the Sith, you very openly have the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, who I think Supreme Leader Snoke is. I think he is a brought back to life version of Darth Plagueis. Why? Because Darth Plagueis' entire thing, and the thing that drives Anakin switching to the dark side, is that he can preserve life and he can bring people back from the dead. That's his thing. And the biggest piece of proof that there's only one character in the entirety of Star Wars referred to as wise, and it's Darth Plagueis the Wise. What does Kylo Ren say to Han Solo on the catwalk? The Supreme Leader is wise. Fuck you, he's Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, but you were gonna say he was Darth Vader.
Oh, well, no, okay. Darth Plagueis in personality. The picture that I sent you...
I don't know why you're telling me to go fuck myself when you gave your explanation and I was gonna agree with you, so...
Okay.
Because you hadn't actually given me that one. So fuck you!
Okay.
Just as a return to telling me to fuck myself for no fucking reason.
Okay. So, another picture I found online today had a comparison of Anakin at the end of episode 6 when he takes the mask off the Vader mask off, and you see his scars and Darth Plagueis. Funnily enough, the scars match up, and
Unless you think that whoever this, who's the big hologram guy?
Supreme Leader Snoke.
Okay, unless you think that Snoke is a Force projection rather than a hologram.
I think here's the thing. We only, throwing out the entire extended universe, what we know is that good guys can become Force ghosts. Every single Force ability has a mirror on the other side of the Force, except for the ability to become Force projections.
Did you say Force ghost?
Yeah, that's the term. Force ghost is what Obi-Wan was in episode 5 and 6. Yoda. Don't fucking look at me like that. That's the term, Force ghost.
If you'd like, okay.
Okay, hang on.
It sounds
ridiculous. We don't have
but...
time. Oh, okay. That's what sounds ridiculous in Star Wars. That's what sounds ridiculous. That's where you go, no, you know what? This is fucking dumb. No.
Maybe
that's
because I've never heard that term. But
it's in the fucking movie.
All I've ever heard is that it's just they can live on through the Force and they're able to project themselves on occasion.
Force ghost on the Star Wars wiki.
But that makes it sound like he's a ghost.
It is.
No,
it
he lives on the Force, and not everything does. Not everything has the ability to continue to use and learn from the Force when they're gone, and just live in the Force and live through it.
Okay, so anyway, I'm not even going to continue arguing this. I found the Wikipedia page. I will send it to you. That way you can look at this at your leisure.
I'm not fighting you. I don't know why you get so sensitive.
Okay.
I was just like, that's a funny term. That's all. You get so sensitive.
I think what Snoke is Darth Plagueis was thought to be killed in during episode 1. That's when he dies. That's when Palpatine kills him. He doesn't die. He becomes Force matter or something like that. Whatever the Sith version is of a Force ghost.
He lives through the Force.
Okay, whatever you want to fucking call it. He becomes that, and then when Anakin dies in episode 6, he's like, ooh, a strong Force user with an actual body that hasn't exploded, and he inhabits it.
No.
Yep.
No.
Okay, what's your
So if that's something that you want to go with,
okay,
I can accept that he has come back.
Uh-huh.
I can accept that. But I can't accept that he's stolen another body and reanimated it, because his body disappears.
We don't see Anakin's body disappear.
Yes, we do.
No, we do not.
It's gone.
Okay, you say it's gone. We don't see it disappear.
If he's able to reappear as a Force ghost, then his body is gone.
Okay.
Because and we do see that previously with Yoda.
And Obi-Wan. I'm not disputing that. What did Anakin have that the other two didn't?
Anakin had used the dark side.
Okay,
but
not just that.
He was turned
That's not where I was going. I was going with 4 metal limbs and a bodysuit that kept him from dying. But okay, let's go with dark side then.
But no, I can't accept reanimation.
It's not reanimation. Reanimation is the same consciousness of the original person, or the body moving with complete autonomy without anyone. This is possession.
Okay, then I can't accept possession. Okay?
Okay.
I can accept that maybe...
Yeah, we need to move on. We have 3 minutes.
That he's done something with the Force and gone to an extremely powerful dark side Force place, like one of the Origins or something, and been able to get a body from, I don't know, been able to gather enough dark energy.
We need to hurry this up. We need to talk about Rey. We have 2 minutes to very quickly. Who do you think Rey is?
Rey's Luke's daughter.
Okay, yeah, that's...
Because they talk about that in
Disney Infinity.
Yeah.
Disney Infinity. I don't know if they talk about it, but Kylo Ren says "Face me, cousin" to
Hmm.
Rey, which means she's probably, of course, Disney Infinity is a non-canon video game, which means what happens there doesn't matter to the canon, even in any weird any weird structure. It doesn't matter, but it's a good indication of what's going to come. There's also a possibility that she's the equivalent of Jaina Solo, which I would not entirely be against if they did that.
Did you? Is Boba Fett alive?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Boba Fett possibly alive. We don't really have time for this, because Battlefront is canon. Boba Fett appears at the Battle of Jakku in Battlefront, therefore he's possibly still alive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He's
Other
really
thing,
old now.
fucking loving Battlefront, by the way. I take everything back about what I said about Battlefront. I fucking love this game. Granted, I love it more if PlayStation Network wasn't down and I could play Fighter Squadron. I fucking rule at that. Okay, we have a minute 30 to go. So, let's see what we have the next few weeks. Oh, that's NBC app. What?
I'm watching a video of a raccoon accidentally dissolve his cotton
Oh, I
candy.
saw that. That's. He's like, what the fuck? Okay. What's it
Oh,
called? We
he's all
have.
like, "No, come back!"
All right. So next few weeks we have Fantastic Four, Inside Out, and Lord of the Rings, the complete trilogy extended edition, courtesy of fucking Peter. Um, what else do we have? Follow me on Twitter because Josie doesn't use Twitter. Uh, at Adam Taylor 792. You can also follow the show at 30min review. Um, and yeah, we will be back next Tuesday with Fantastic Four. So, I mean, don't get your hopes up too high.